All right, so today we're going to walk through creating a contact form in Kartra. We're going to use a form and email notifications to set this form up so that someone can submit the typical contact form where they give you their name, their email, and send you a message. And you actually get that message when you get the email notification from Kartra. So let's jump in. First, we're going to go to Contacts on the left-hand sidebar and then Forms, and click in the top right to create a new form. We'll name this Contact Form. We're going to choose the embedded type, and we can just leave it as the default template here. In this first section under Design, we're going to click on Customize, and we'll add a field. So we're going to click on Fields on the left-hand side. By default, we have first name and email, and both are required. We'll leave that as is. Click on plus new field. I like to add the privacy policy disclaimer to every form that I create, so I'm adding that one first. If you'd like to stave off spam bots before they find your form, you can add the CAPTCHA now. If you don't want to add the CAPTCHA at this point, you can hold off, and if you do get hit with a spam bot, you can add it then, but we'll add it right now. And then we're going to add a new field once more, and this time click Create a Custom Field. Choose Text Area over on the right-hand side. It's the big text block. For the field identifier, we'll choose Message. For the field label, Message, and the placeholder, enter your message here. Turn on mandatory and save. Perfect. First name, email, enter your message here, retype the code, and then the privacy policy disclaimer at the bottom. Excellent. Click Actions up in the top right and save and exit. Now, for our settings, if someone fills out our contact form, we're going to select single opt-in, the success page. You have an option of using Kartra's default page, which if we click on preview, we'll see it just says thank you with a check mark. Or you can use a custom page. You could even do a simple page that just is a little more informative than the thank you, something with maybe a custom image, and it says something like, we've received your message and we'll typically get back to you within 24 hours or 48 hours, or whatever message you want to put there. So if you do go the custom page route, you would click Use Custom Page, switch from external URL to Kartra page, and then select the site and the Kartra page that you've created. For the sake of this video, I'm going to keep it to the default page, assuming you know how to set up a custom page, and I just showed you how to select it here. If you'd like to send a welcome message, this part here would send them an email also letting them know that you've received their message and maybe how long it's going to take you to get back to them, or maybe some resources you want to send to them. Typically inside of forms, I do not use a welcome message here because this does not allow us to see analytics like open rate, click rate, things like that. So for almost all of my forms, I would not choose to send a welcome message here and would instead create a sequence. But for a contact form like we're creating right here, a simple welcome message sent through the form is absolutely fine. So if that's something you want to do, click on Send a Welcome Email. You'll select your gateway here. Make sure this all looks good. Click Save. Change on the welcome email setup. And in here, we might say, we got your message. We'll get back to you soon. Dear first name, thank you for filling out our form. We've successfully received your submission. We appreciate your contribution. So I might just change this a little bit. We typically respond within 48 hours. Okay, and then we might just link to some resources here and then sign off. If you don't want to send a welcome message at all, just sending them to a confirmation page that lets them know that you got their email is absolutely fine as well. Next, we go to the automations tab, and here we want to make sure that our new contact who fills out this form does become an actively subscribed contact. So we want to make sure we're adding them to our primary email list. We don't need to add a tag here. We don't need to subscribe them to a sequence, and we don't need any further automations. So we're good to go here. Click Publish in the top right. Next, let's take care of adding the newly created custom field message to our email notifications. That's going to be in our settings in the bottom left, email notifications. Click the To Your Team tab in the top right, and we'll edit the email notification for lead fills in an opt-in form. If you've already turned this on, yours will look like mine. By default, if you've never edited these email notifications, this one may be turned off. By default, this is turned off. You do need to come in and turn this on. I recommend it so that you know whenever anyone is filling out one of your opt-in forms. We're going to click the edit over here on the right, the pencil. In this box here, in the email notification, you'll see by default, Kartra will tell you which form they filled out, what their name is, and what their email is. What we're going to do is add in the message dynamic variable here. So I add another dot point. I'm going to put in message, bold that just because I want it to look aligned with everything else here. Now, up in the top right, click on variables, add variable, scroll down, and you'll find at the bottom your custom dynamic fields that you've created. We're going to choose message. That's the one that we just created. And when we close that pop-up, we now have the custom field for message over here with the other dynamic variables available. Click the little clipboard to copy, come down into the email body, and paste that in. Let's just unbold that part. Okay, so now when we get this email notification, when someone fills out one of our forms, if they filled out the contact form, the message will show up here. One thing to note is that with these email notifications, there isn't a custom notification per form. There's one notification email. So if we have this turned on to send us a notification whenever someone fills out any of our forms, then if this is someone filling out a lead magnet form, they won't have filled out the dynamic variable for message, right? That's not the form they filled out. So this will be blank. Or if someone has filled out your contact form previously, but you get a notification that they filled out one of your other forms, then you will see their old message here. So you just have to keep that in mind. Anything that you add in, you could add in as many dynamic variables as you need to here, but they're not all going to apply to every notification. When we're done adding that, we can save and exit. The other thing that you can change here is if you click on the gear to edit the rules, this is where you could customize. By default, it will be any form and it will send to the admin of your account. But you can customize that. So if you didn't want to receive the email notification for other types of forms and you only wanted to receive a notification for the contact form, you could turn on contact form and your admin and add that in, and then delete the any form, right? That means that now I'll only get notified for the contact form. Or if you had another team member besides yourself that you wanted to receive email notifications, you can customize that as well. However, I like to get notified for every form fill. That's important to me. So I leave it like that. So now on your Contact Us page, you can add this form in. You can put this form wherever you'd like, in a pop-up, in a footer, in a header, on a contact page, right? So I'm going to select contact form and click apply. Now we'll see that it's asking for first name, email, the message, it has the CAPTCHA, and then we just need to change that button text there. So let's change that to submit your message. Perfect. Okay. Now, when someone fills out this form, you'll get the email notification from Kartra. The email notification will tell you that they filled out your contact form. It will give you their name, their email, and their message information. If you enjoyed this tutorial, please give it a like and subscribe. And if you'd like access to a whole library of trainings like this and to be able to ask me your questions in real time in a private members Facebook group, check out the Kartra Inner Circle. I'd love to see you on the inside.